Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the weekly pint. This is not a show, but it is it's a thing. It's a thing we do every week. We hang out together, have a drink together, as long as you're able to get a drink. I'm glad the night is saved for Julia. Her boyfriend Josh is grabbing her a beer. The world is okay. Welcome back, guys. How are we all doing? When everybody's got a beer in their hand, let me know what it is that you're drinking. Marco, are you picking up your to-go food, having a truth? I need to crack one open. I drank a You Betcha a little bit earlier, and then haven't had a chance yet. John says that he'd rather not say what I'm drinking, that he may be drinking a pumpkin beer in August. There is nothing wrong with that. You drink whatever you want to drink, and don't let anybody tell you differently. That's the way I think it. I'm going to crack open some Wooden Cask. Kentucky Farmhand. This is their American Wheat Ale. It says, our American Wheat Ale is unfiltered with a malt aroma of bread and finishes with a lemon zest hop flavor. Pour into a chilled glass. I didn't chill my glass. I mean, I rinsed it out with cold water. I guess that counts. Julia says, even seltzer. Yes, even if seltzer is your thing, you are more than welcome to drink it. Even if it's just like water, you're allowed to drink it. It's not as fun, but that's the point of all this, is just kind of doing your own thing. Haven't had this beer in a while. I haven't had just like a straight American wheat in a while, period. A lot of Hefeweizens and Belgian wheats and things like that, but this is all just a straight up American zippy summer beer. If you're new to the show, I can't see everybody that's listening right now. So if you're new to the show, this is how it works. We hang out together, we drink together, but it's kind of like think of it like a happy hour, like we're all just sitting around drinking together. A big part of that is the conversation. There's a couple ways that you can take part in the conversation. Wherever it is that you are listening or watching right now, you can chat on there. Just comment on the post or whatever it may be in that platform, and it will pop up here on the screen in just a second once I turn it on. The other way, which is sometimes more fun, you can call in. We have what we call the drunk line, which is a phone line where you get to call in. It's 567-70-DRINK. That's 567-703-7465. Julia said that Josh did good. Ooh, got the Red Nosed Giant by Bierkus and Nine Giant. I have not had that beer. There's a lot of beers that I haven't got my hands on. I will take the current state of craft beer any day. But there was something really fun about that era of beer in the city where you could get everything. You could try every single beer that was released. When it was released, you could show up when they tapped it in the tap room, and that was a good time. That is not the case anymore, and there are a lot of things that I miss out on that I really wish that I didn't miss out on. And that is one of those beers that so far has eluded me that I just want to get my hands on. I did get to go to Nine Giant the other day for the first time in a very long time. I had some lunch there. We'll get to all that. I'm going to drink this first. The glass today, if you saw Prost, I think it was a week or two ago, my glassware is sponsored. That needs to be known. There are lots of ways that you can help make this show tick. There's some of there's a Patreon. If you go to thegnarlygnome.com/support, you can take part that way, and that helps a lot. There's the store, thegnarlygnome.com/shop. You can buy swag like this really awesome Gnarly Gnome hat and lots of other stuff. That's one way that you can help. You can also sponsor things, which is a little more complicated because of all of the different stuff that you can sponsor, but the easiest is glassware. Every episode of the Weekly Pint or Prost or any of that stuff, if you want to see me drinking out of your glassware, especially if you work at a brewery, your logo could be right here. Instead, tonight's glass is sponsored by me, the Gnarly Gnome, or more importantly, my company, Gnome Creative. which is something that I don't talk about a whole lot in anything really. I'm a photographer. You guys know that I'm a content creator. That's all part of my company, and you can work with me if you don't want to sponsor something, but you have some pictures you need taken, or some video that needs done, or audio that needs recorded. Any of that stuff, I do that. That's how I make my living. So you could sponsor a glass too, and then you don't have to hear me talk about Gnome Creative. But I'm gonna drink this beer, Kentucky Farmhand. Absolutely perfect, super refreshing. Fits in much more to the summer vibe. Although the summer vibe that I was feeling pre this week, when it was 90 degrees outside, this is what I wanted to be drinking. I know that everybody freaks out a little bit about the fall beers when they start popping up, be it Oktoberfest, which is not really a fall beer. It is a end of summer or summer beer, in my opinion, or pumpkin beers when they start popping up. I know everybody kind of loses their mind about it, but the way this week has been, the mid to high 70s. When you're sitting in the shade, every once in a while that wind blows and there's a little chill in the air, and I'm okay drinking Oktoberfest beer. I'm okay drinking Oktoberfest beer no matter what, but especially weeks like we've had. I have not bought any Oktoberfest beer yet, because I'm clearing out a bunch of space in fridges, because when I start buying Oktoberfest beer, I'm buying a ton of Oktoberfest beer. I'm sure some of you guys know why. Not just because I love the style, but we do a massive undertaking in trying to find the best Oktoberfest beer in Cincinnati. More specifically, the best package Oktoberfest beer. Maybe more than that. We'll figure out the logistics of it all as we get a little bit more into Oktoberfest season here. But needless to say, it's going to be awesome, and I will have tons of Märzens and tons of Fest beer here in my house very soon. Jason says, I stocked up on the Mad Tree Pumpkin because I got shorted the past couple of years. I did start on the Oktoberfest beers this weekend. Yep. I mean, there is nothing wrong with snagging some pumpkin beer and stashing it away. It'll keep in your fridge. If you put it in the fridge, keep it cold, it'll be just fine into October. John says, I want to know if more lines will be rebranded Fifth and Vine or a new recipe. That's a great question. I haven't tried it yet. I'm going to assume that it is a new recipe. All of those core Moreline beers that they've released so far have been new recipes. There has been nothing that has been just kind of rebranded as of yet. That being said, the Lager House functions very separate from the Christian Moreline Brewing Company, the Cincinnati Beverage Company. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that there is a very good chance that you will be able to snag Fifth and Vine at the Lager House. I don't know that for a fact. I will confirm it or tell you that that's not true in the next couple weeks here. I've started putting together the great Oktoberfest beer rundown of 2021, which is a ton to sort through and to get all put together and to make sure that it is the best source of Oktoberfest information. Speaking of Oktoberfest, I have a bunch of other kind of big Oktoberfest posts coming this year that I have not done in previous years that I have always wanted to do and just never could find the time. Not that I have that any more time this year, but I've managed to pull time out of my butt to make it happen. So I've got some fun posts coming in the Oktoberfest realm that I think you guys will like. I'm determined to go to more Oktoberfest festivals this year than I have done any other year in the past. I'm going to go all out for Oktoberfest. I love this. I love that time of year. This time of year, that time of year, whatever. I was talking to a family member this weekend. We were all sitting outside, drinking some beers, smoking some cigars, and we were talking about Halloween came up somehow. And they have a campsite and the campground is kind of all people that seasonally just kind of go there. And they were talking about their trick or treat that they do at the campground, and they do it at the end of September. And I'm all about Oktoberfest early. I'm not sure how I feel about trick or treating in September. Let's see. Julia says, I'm hoping 13 Below is their fall ale again this year. It's my favorite local Oktoberfest. I'm assuming that they will. I will confirm it, though, although they're not always the most active in getting back to inquiries like that. I need to just go there and pick their brains sitting across the bar. Jason says Springboro might have the best Oktoberfest craft options. Faux show. Okay. I don't know that I've had a lot of craft beers from those northern breweries. Marco says I have one you need to try. Yeah, I'm excited to try them all. I really do enjoy this part of this season of craft beer drinking a lot. So going back to me getting the chance to go to Nine Giant for the first time in a long time. This weekend was a busy weekend. Every weekend is a busy weekend, but this was busy on the gnome side of things. We had Danger Wheel going on down in Pendleton. I'm curious if any of you guys went to that, what you thought about it. It was also Brews in the Burbs up in Mason at Sonder, and I went to both. So it was a good gnome day for me. I was bouncing around. It was a little hectic. So I got ready to leave that morning. I also had to do some other stuff, some other semi-gnome related work stuff in the morning. And so I had to leave pretty early. Got everything together because I had to pack, all of the video stuff that I was going to be doing at Danger Wheel. I did shoot a bunch of other video there too that hopefully will make its way to YouTube. So I had to pick up video stuff, stuff for the other thing that I was doing. Then I had to pack up all of my podcast stuff because I was recording a podcast at Brews in the Burbs, and get all that loaded into my car. Had to bring a table and chairs because at Brews in the Burbs, I'm sitting out in the grass. I needed a place to record. So we got all that stuff packed up and then got to ready to leave. And my car is very grumpy right now, so I needed to go into the shop. So I went back in the house and I said, yep, I'm not taking my car today. Meanwhile, my poor wife and my kids have plans all day also. They have a birthday party they were going to and all kinds of crap. And, of course, they were planning on taking the minivan. And so I don't know how we're going to do this. And so she managed to figure out a ride for them. So I took the Mom-mobile, and which is way easier to load stuff into than my little car. So I had to move everything over into the van and then take off and go do my day. So it started out a little hectic, but by the time I got downtown, got to Pendleton, got the other stuff I was doing out of the way, then got to just cruise up and down the hill. I think I walked probably 7 miles on Saturday. So logged a lot of steps, as they would say, and got to watch the beginning part of Danger Wheel. I had to leave before the finals and all of that, but I got to see a bunch of races and had an absolute blast. If anybody doesn't know, Danger Wheel is it's a downhill big wheel race is the best way to describe it. I can maybe play. Let's see if this works here. Hang on. This won't have any sound, but this will give you guys a little. Oh, hang on. Let me rewind it. This is very complicated. Okay, like I said, there's no sound, but you'll be able to see. This is the video that I posted on Instagram. So it's a downhill big wheel race, downhill big wheel race. They have ramps that they go off of. You can buy water balloons and you can throw them at the people as they're racing. It's insane, but in a very, very good way. I hate that it's a vertical video, but like I said, Instagram. So, yeah. If you guys didn't get to go this year, you've never been, put it on your calendar for next year, because like it is an absolute blast. This was the first time that I had gotten to go down there, and I don't think I will ever miss it again because it was so much fun. With that, I got to run into Braxton while I was down there. Grabbed a beer at Braxton. They had a Kolsch on tap that was incredible. I drank a couple other things too, but I haven't been down to the Braxton Cincinnati tap room for a while. Coincidentally, I will also be there this week to record next week's episode of the Brewcast. So 2 times in a week. It seems that that's the way it goes for me, though. I'll go somewhere, or I'll have plans to go somewhere, and then the way the schedule works out, I'll end up going there like 3 or 4 times in the span of a month, whereas other places I can't get to more than once every 3 years or something. Not that that's a complaint. Anywhere I get to go and have a beer is fun. So then left Danger Wheel and stopped at Nine Giant to grab some lunch. Had a beer there, and then went up to Margo says that about October Fuel. I'm sure we will talk about October Fuel. There's a lot of stuff that we're gonna talk about. I've got lots of questions. They've got some stuff that they definitely want to talk about, so should be fun. Went up to Brews in the Burbs, recorded the show, got everything packed up, got to hang out and talk to a lot of people that I love talking to, including Marco, who was volunteering. Didn't really get to. I shouldn't say I didn't get to. I made the choice not to take the full beer festival lifestyle in. I didn't drink as much at Brews in the Burbs as I would have liked to, but frankly, it was a long freaking day. So I'd much rather just kind of hang out and talk to people and sip on a couple beers. I got to eat some amazing Geta nachos. That was maybe a bad choice at 9:00 at night to choose to eat dinner of Geta nachos. But as you get older, as I'm sure some of you guys know, the heartburn is a real thing. It's so hard sometimes not to, though, especially when you're somewhere like that. Rock and Roll's food truck was there, and if you guys have never eaten there, it's so good. They're good people. So that was my exciting Saturday. I don't think anything exciting was going on the week before. Let me look at my calendar and see if that's not true. Nope, I was at Sonder on Tuesday. So I think this next week there is an episode of Sonder Stories that I'm on. In that, not to spoil anything, but we talked about, we did a thing where we chose our dream tap list, I guess. If you had to put together a tap list of 10 beers, current or past, and only drink those 10 for the rest of your life, what beers would they be? That is a really, really difficult thing to put together, but they forced me to, so I did. I won't tell you my picks, mostly because I'd have to pull up my notes to remember. But some of them are predictable. Some of them might surprise you. I'm very curious to if I kind of, if I force myself to do, did Justin pick 12? No, actually, funny enough, well, I won't spoil anything. No, he didn't. Were all of the Sonder answers Sonder beers? No, there were a lot of Sonder beers mentioned, but they were not all Sonder. I'm curious if I forced myself to do that same exercise like in 2 weeks, how different my answers would be. I also realized, this is spoiling a little bit, not only did I not have any IPAs on my list, I also didn't have an Oktoberfest beer on my list, which is crazy. So I don't know. It's very difficult. It's a good episode though. Justin called his tap list the Kenny Chesney. If any of you don't listen to Saunders Stories, you should be listening to Saunders Stories. And these are all inside jokes from their podcast. But yeah, you should definitely listen to it. Just wherever you listen to your podcasts, it's there. Unless you listen to your podcast on YouTube, which for the record is not a podcast if it's only on YouTube. They're not on there. Cincy Brewcast isn't on there too. Because it's really difficult to convince people to put themselves on video. I guess I would start a new channel for it, but you could do like how sometimes they just have a still image on the screen and it plays a podcast, which I think is a horrible use of YouTube, and I don't really want to do that, but if enough people wanted it, I would. But I don't think enough people want it. It's so easy to get podcasts these days. Everybody's got a podcast app, and if you don't, they're free, and it's easy to use. It's ridiculous. Marco says, if only there was a podcast that covered each of the Cincinnati craft beer podcasts. If only there was. Do you guys want to dive into some label approvals? There's not a ton this week, but I'm staring at one right now that's up on my screen, and it's pretty cool. Let me pull this off the screen so you guys can see better. Okay, prepare yourselves. Twisted Tea, and bear with me, read this just a little bit before you react too much. So it's a collaboration with Michigan State Athletics. I don't know. I don't really care about that part of it. I don't know if this already exists or if this is the first time it's popped up. I don't usually pull Twisted Tea labels. This is a bag in a box. It says open here for original, open here for a good time. It is like wine in a box, but it's tea in a box. I feel like if somebody was going to do a podcast about alternative drinking methods, this is the perfect example of something that is just off the wall, and I don't know that we actually need it in this world. If we start boxed beer, I'm out, says John. There is a Sean White says, I don't give a damn for the whole state of Michigan. I'm not going though. Ohio State fans. I have no issues with Ohio State football, but I'm a Bearcat fan. I don't have the hatred towards Michigan that everybody else seems to. That's not the point of this. The point of this is that it's Twisted Tea in a box. They have, going back to John's comment about if we start box beer, I'm out. There are places that are doing like bags of beer instead of a growler. I know that who started that? Was it Branch and Bone? Correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody should know that. Cincinnati football is better than Michigan football. I'll take that. So yeah, Branch and Bone, I think, is the first one that I saw locally that did the beer in a bag. And they did just like cask ales and stuff like that. It doesn't need high carbonation. I've also seen Westside do something similar, some kind of a beer in a bag thing. So we're just shy of beer in a box. All you would have to do is put that bag in a box, and it would be the same. Branch and Bone or Sons of Toil, or who came in? I didn't see Sons of Toil do it, but who knows? There was also it's a foldable growler at Westside, yeah. There was a weird time during the COVID shutdowns and everybody trying to get a hold of growlers and things like that people were filling all kinds of really strange stuff. Um, and I'm assuming that that's kind of where some of these people got this in their head to do foldable growlers or beer in a bag or whatever. But I, I don't know that I would ever buy. I don't know that I would ever purposely or non, just for shits and giggles, buy beer in a bag. However, twisted tea in a bag, if I was going to drink twisted tea, which I haven't had twisted tea in a really long time, I don't remember being that great. If I was going to buy twisted tea, I have no issue with buying in a bag. Kind of I don't know what that says about me, or what it says about twisted tea, but that's just how I feel. Let's move on. This just fascinates me. Rhinegeist Keg Collar. This one's called Cosmic Mountaineer, a sour ale with cherries and vanilla. It's from their Outer Reaches series. This is not bottled. It's just in kegs. Julia says it's like an adult Capri Sun. I was somewhere the other day. Oh, we were out of town a couple weeks ago, and we were up north. And one of the bars that I was in, because that's what I do whenever I'm not at work. I'm in a bar, and they had some kind of, I think they called them adult Capri Suns. It was like they had just a smoothie machine, and they were filling bags and sticking straws in them and sending people to go sit on the patio and drink them. I don't know why. I don't know why you wouldn't just put it in a cup, but whatever. Maybe a bag has more insulating power. Maybe it would keep it colder longer. Julia says that Northside Yacht Club has actual adult Capri Suns for some of their to-go cocktails. To-go cocktails, it makes sense because it's just it's a portable package, a cheap portable package. Goody Boy in Columbus has a bag cocktail. Is that a to-go cocktail, or is it something that you drink while you're there? If it's like an ironic kind of fun thing for like one of the cocktails, and that's the theme of the cocktail or something, okay, maybe it's a very kind of tiki thing to have a special glass for that cocktail, especially if it's a goofy glass like that or a goofy serving vessel. But I don't get it for most stuff, especially if you're not getting it to go. It looks like a Capri Sun. What's next? Urban Artifact. This is their Midwest Fruit Tart variants for Plowshare, which is coming up soon. I don't know if that's September or October that they do Plowshare, but it's coming up. This is chocolate truffle ice cream, and then the other one is spicy sauce, which they've done a lot of spicy ones. I don't really care about the spicy ones. I think I still have the last spicy sauce sitting in my fridge still. But this chocolate truffle ice cream sounds pretty good. Blackberries, vanilla beans, plus cocoa nibs and lactose. I think I could drink that. Julia says an alternative beverage delivery method. Listen to next week's Shift Beers. What's up next here? Oh, Westside Brewing, their wheat, a traditional Belgian style wheat ale. Ale brewed with spices. Yeah, another wheat, very different than this one that I'm drinking. It says a traditional Belgian style wheat ale. This pale beer has a white head. Excuse me. And aromas of clove, citrus, and coriander. The softly doughy malt flavor comes from the generous use of unmalted wheat and a hint of oats, with no hop aroma and orange peel and coriander used in the kettle. This pairs great with salads, fish, light curries, and more. Or with sunshine and a picnic table or a chair on your front porch, something like that. Sounds like it pairs up with that too, in my opinion. But what do I know? I'm only an expert on sitting in the sun and drinking beer. So I'm not an expert at a lot of things, but I am an expert at Like I mentioned before, this week's Brewcast, we're going to be down at Braxton. So if you guys have any questions that you want me to ask them, hit me up on social media and tell me what you want to know about them, because there's definitely some fun conversations to be held there. It's the first time I've sat down with them since they have opened up the Cincinnati tap room. So I'm excited to kind of see how that plays into their bigger picture. And we all saw the news about the Tennessee tap room that may or may not actually be a real thing. Miles says, which location will you be at? I will be at Cincinnati. John says, will they please can Haven again? I will definitely ask that one too. I imagine that with a lot of places, Braxton included, production is the issue. When you're cranking out as much seltzer as they are, I know March 1st is feeling the pinch a little bit now too. You have so much seltzer that people are wanting to drink. It doesn't leave a lot of space for you to make other stuff. I will be there on Wednesday. Says Miles wants to know when I'm back. I should put the chat back up for you guys so you can. Although most of you guys are usually on Facebook, I don't get a lot of. There's people that are watching on other channels, and after the live show, we get way more people that like to watch on YouTube. But usually, when people are chatting, you guys are all hanging out in the same spot, anyways. You're all on Facebook. It's very strange. We could go down a rabbit hole there about social media, and I feel like I'm one of the strange people that still gets a lot of engagement off of Facebook versus other platforms. And I don't know why that is. Miles says, I work down the street from there. Stop in, say hi. I will be there probably after work sometime. I think around 6 or so is when I'm planning on starting the show, I think. Assuming I've got a car. My car's in the shop right now with thousands of dollars worth of repairs. So once again, if you want to sponsor today's class, just please reach out, because there's always something that, costs money. Yeah, I hope everybody listened to this week's Brewcast. It was a fun one, sitting outside at the beer festival. And then next week we'll kind of be back to more of a standard show, sitting in a tap room. So that'll be cool. And there's some fun episodes. There's some fun episodes in the in the hopper. Miles says, "Can we sponsor a chug? Maybe. I don't typically chug beer, but yeah, maybe we could come up with that. It would be good. The big thing with with I think Twitch is where you can sponsor different things. Like you can have it to where if you pay money, you can play sound effects during people's shows and stuff like that. Maybe we'll do a thing for Twitch. If you're watching on Twitch, you can sponsor a jug. We'll figure something out. It's a bad idea, you guys. I could, when I finish recording right here, I still have to go upstairs and I still have to be Dad. So Dad stumbles upstairs after hiding in the basement for 45 minutes to pretend he's sitting at a bar with his friends. So, and my kid's already confused enough about what Dad actually does for a living. It's a strange world I live in, you guys. We'll speaking of that, we'll wrap it up, and stay tuned for some fun stuff. I'm finally almost finished with the next vlog that I've been sitting on forever, and it's a sneak peek kind of episode. If I can, I'm still trying to cut it down a little bit shorter. It's kind of long. I hung out with Josh down at the Millcroft, the new I almost said Sycamore Distilling. It's not Sycamore Distilling. It's Cincinnati Distilling. The March 1st distilling side of things. one of their distilling side of things. It's very, very confusing, all of the stuff they have going on. But the new distillery in Milford, we walked around there and got a full tour of everything that's going on there. It's a pretty cool space. So I'm excited for everybody to get kind of a peek at that. I need to finish a couple things on it, and like I said, try to squish it down a little bit shorter for you. But it'll be good. So stay tuned for that. And obviously there's a Prost coming this week. I don't know what I'm going to drink yet. It's not going to be an Oktoberfest quite yet, and it's definitely not going to be a pumpkin beer quite yet. But that is definitely coming on the show, so stay tuned for that because I love both of those styles. If I can keep pumpkin beer in the house. My wife is a huge pumpkin beer fan, so usually once it comes in, it's going away real quick. But yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate you hanging out with me. We do this every single Monday around 9-ish, depending on the chaos of the world that has befallen me that week. But yeah, we've got some other fun stuff in the Sean says I'll sponsor your pumpkin beer. Yeah, there's some fun pumpkin beers coming this year that I'm excited to get my hands on. There's some other fun things that I'm playing around with that I'm not really ready to talk about completely yet. But stay tuned. There's lots of other cool stuff in the works. So just stay tuned to all of my social media, all of those different platforms that consume my life. That'll give you a little sneak peek at that when it's available. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. We'll be back. It's the Weekly Pint. If you like this and all my other shows, go to thegnarlygnome.com/support. It like I said, it helps my car. It helps my car. Helps everything.